Niamey is the capital and largest city of Niger. Niamey lies on the Niger River, primarily situated on the east bank. Niamey's population was counted as 1,026,848 as of the 2012 census. As of 2017, population projections show the capital district growing at a slower rate than the country as a whole, which has the world's highest fertility rate. The city is located in a pearl millet growing region. While manufacturing industries include bricks, ceramic goods, cement and weaving, Niamey was probably founded in the 18th century and originated as a cluster of small villages. Niamey was of little importance until the French developed it as a colonial center in the late 1890s. The town, then with an estimated population of some 1,800, was chosen as the capital of the newly created military territory of Niger in 1905. However, the capital was shifted to the more established city of Zinder in 1912. Zinder's proximity to the Nigerian border and distance from French-controlled ports prompted the French to move the capital back to Niamey in 1926, by which time the city had some 3,000 inhabitants. A series of devastating droughts prompted significant population growth during this period, and by 1945 the population was about 8,000. Prior to 1926-27, the upper Volta-Niger border ran along the Niger River, meaning that Niamey lay directly on the boundary. At the time of independence in 1960, the population had grown to around 30,000. The period from 1970 to 1988 was one in which the economy of Niger boomed, driven by revenue from the uranium mines at Arlit. As a result, the population of Niamey grew from 108,000 to 398,365 inhabitants, and the city expanded from 1,367 hectares in 1970 to 4,400 hectares by 1977. In the process annexing peripheral villages such as Lazaret. Continuing droughts also caused many rural Nigerians to move to the growing city. In 1992, Niamey and its immediate hinterland was split off from Niamey region to form the much smaller Niamey Capital District, enclaved within the new Tillabri region. By some estimates, the population had reached 700,000 in 2000. In 2011, government press estimated the total urban population at over 1.5 million. A major cause of the increase has been in migration for work and during droughts, as well as high population growth. This last factor means that demographically a majority of the city's citizens are young people, covering an area of over 250 square kilometers of the river as it meanders from a west to east flow to run almost directly south. A series of marshy islands begin at Niamey and extend south in the river. The vast majority of the population and government and commercial buildings are located on the eastern bank of the river. The very center of the center contains a number of wide boulevards linking roundabouts. Two bridges connect the two sides, the Kennedy Bridge and the Friendship Bridge. The western bank area consists mainly of residential areas such as Gawai, Sagia, Le Morde, Saga and Karadje, as well as Abdo Mumoni University. The climate is hot semi-arid a year, mostly beginning with a few storms in May, then transitioning to a rainy season, usually lasting from sometime in June to early September, when the rains taper off rather quickly. Most of the rainfall is from late June to mid-September. There is practically no rain from October to April. Niamey is remarkably hot throughout the year. In fact, it is one of the hottest major cities on the planet. Average monthly high temperatures reach 38 degrees Celsius. Niamey's population has grown exponentially since independence. The droughts of the early 1970s and 1980s, along with the economic crisis of the early 1980s, have propelled an exodus of rural inhabitants to Niger's largest city. Under the military government of General Sayani Conche, there were strict controls on residency and the government would regularly round up and deport those without permits back to their villages. The growing freedoms of the late 1980s and 1990s, along with the Tuareg rebellion of the 1990s and famine in the 2000s, have reinforced this process of internal migration. with large informal settlements appearing on the outskirts of the city. Noticeable in the city's center since the 1980s are groups of poor, young, or handicapped beggars within the richer or more trafficked neighborhoods. These beggars have in fact formed a well-regulated hierarchical system in which beggars garner sadaq according to cultural and religious norms. In the 1990s, the capital district population growth rate was lower than the torrid national rate, suggesting large rural migration was negligible in Niger. There is an undercount, and/or the government's forced urban to rural deportations were effective. A major attraction in the city is the Niger National Museum, which incorporates a zoo, a museum of vernacular architecture, a craft center, and exhibits including dinosaur skeletons and the Tree of Tenair. Other places of interest include the American, French and